Aqua Teen, Season 12. Aqua Teen came back for a 5-episode 12th season, and that is what we're talking about today. I have liked Aqua Teen since I first saw it. When did I see it? Like in 2002, and I've been a huge fan of it ever since. This is an interesting one because it's the first one that didn't have like a different kind of name. It's just called Aqua Teen Hunger Force since a long time. I think this was a decent enough return. I don't even really feel like it's a reboot because nothing so much changed. But if you saw my reaction to Aqua Teen before, my first reaction thing, most of how I felt about it didn't fully change because my favorite episode is still A Quiet Shake, which was a cool parody of A Quiet Place. I thought that was my favorite episode, the one I liked the most. However, there are other ones I liked, and particularly the other 3 episodes, which with Master Shake trying to write a screenplay, and then like all these coffee machine and accessories sort of take over, as well as there's one after like Get a Lift Upon a Sit Upon, which was sort of a take on the, I guess, Peloton thing, and then Anubis about like them joining this friendship seminar and stuff like that. My thing with the last 2 are like they're far too similar. Because they're both like, there's a thing, and then they enter a cult, and then they have to build a thing, and then there's a thing about the Earth being destroyed. I know like Aqua Teen's done that a lot, but to be honest with you, having them right in a row like that, because I watched a bunch of them close together, just made me feel like they're just like kind of didn't have a ton of ideas like they said they did. And that made the season not feel as like warranted as I thought it would, you know, not that like it needs to have an amazing jokes, but like usually like even if it's an idea I've seen before, it's like funny enough, but like not that those weren't funny or decent episodes. It's more just that they were so similar. They Get Lift Upon and Sip On and Anubis that it was just, I don't know. That was like too close for comfort in my mind. I thought that was like too much, frankly. Although I liked, my second favorite is the one like Scripps 2 is the T's are 2's, I think, about the coffee machines. I thought that was one of the better ones, but I sort of like when it gets in the bizarre thing like the Quiet Place one. I thought was a lot better. I don't know, I felt like more critical of it, and I don't think it's like a great place for Aqua Teen to start, you know, for a new person to watch Aqua Teen. I think it's very much for the older fans. But I also feel like the thing about the Peloton one and the first episode, which was about like NFT, which was about like VR headsets, Shaketopia, is that felt too much like, oh, we should do what's big now, or it almost felt like oddly the network would send them notes and they listen to them, and it's like it couldn't be like the Boost Mobile one that was ironic and funny. Like they can do that, but it just didn't feel like they were good. These are all written and directed mostly by David Willis and Matt Valero, who I love, but I don't know, it was still decent, but I just wish they had done more interesting things with it. And I think like looking at like, let's say the Beavis and Butthead reboot, which did do some of those things where like, oh, we have to do an escape room, and that fucking turned me off a lot of that show actually originally. But then I eventually like came around through the other episodes because they were so good, and even concepts that was like had mixed feelings about. And part of me feels like there should be more. Like we just sort of got into it, and maybe had there been 10, I wouldn't feel this way necessarily. But another part of me feels like they didn't really rethink about Aqua Teen like Mike Judge did with Beavis and Butthead. I know Beavis and Butthead is very different from Aqua Teen, but I feel like he thought about how would you get that to work nowadays, and how it basically could be the exact same, it doesn't matter. But I think like actually having that conversation was something you can tell that happened with Beavis and Butthead, and that might sound like very projection-y, but it's like you can tell like they thought about like, well, what about cell phones? What should Beavis and Butthead watch now? What things like that. And Aqua Teen just feels like, oh, it's Aqua Teen still, and I like that to a degree. But I think like how it did like the Quiet Place one, I thought worked for it. But I still like this season. And if someone was into Aqua Teen, I was like, yeah, you should give it a watch. But if someone was like, which one should I really watch? I would say 2 and 3. And I'd say skip maybe 4. The sit up, I don't know. Maybe actually 1 and 5. It's like 1 and 5, I think, would be. I don't love as much, but I still liked it. I'm just not very enthusiastic. Like, if there was more, I would still probably watch it, because I've watched Aqua Teen for so long, and it's still like kind of cool to me. But I get it. Like, if people are like, I don't know, like, it's just like, I don't think it like made you go, yeah, Aqua Teen. It made you go, oh, yeah, Aqua Teen's still here. And I think like, I get like that's how Matt Malero is, and that's how that Dave Willis and that writing style, but like, just it didn't feel like it like won you back over. It felt like it just sort of like met you halfway, and I kind of want a little bit more. You know, we have so many reboots nowadays. I want to be like thrilled and be like, yeah, it's back. I want to be that passionate when it's over. I don't want to be that passionate when it comes back and when we announce it and we're excited, and then it's like, okay. And I feel like there were some really good times in it. And I did watch that Quiet Place one twice, and I'll probably watch the Coffee Machine screenplay one, which episode name I can't say worth a damn. And you know, that was, I don't know. I'm glad it came back. I just wish we had some better episodes or more episodes, which I also hope are better. I guess I just wish it was better, but it was still kind of good. I didn't watch the movie. See, everybody says they liked more of the movie, so I guess for everyone else it was an improvement. So maybe it's just my context is off.